Hi, I'm Claire Tompkins, the Clutter Coach, and this is the Organize Your Life podcast. I am passionate about organizing because it makes my clients' lives so much easier, more relaxed, and with more time to spend the way that they want to. In every podcast, I will talk about an organizing, decluttering, or time management concept. I'll tell you why it's important. I'll also include an action step at the end so you can start practicing right away. My specialty is chunking down these big topics so they aren't overwhelming. That's the concept for the podcast, too. I'm now done with the material from my first book, 52 Simple Ways to Get Organized. You can buy my books on my website or on Amazon. You can also view the podcast show notes on my blog. I do this podcast to connect with people, and that means you. Let me know that you're listening. Shoot me an email at claire@cluttercoach.net. I would really love to hear from you. Okay, here we go. This is podcast 103. In episode 93, I talked about focus and hyperfocus. This time, I'll go into detail about the perils of not focusing and what you can do about it. We'll start with a quotation. All of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. That was written by Blaise Pascal in the 1600s, but it's even more relevant now. I'll bet many of you listening right now are terrified by the idea of sitting quietly in a room alone. Alone meaning no other people, but also no TV, no computer, and no phone. Could you do it? Relax, I won't make you. Still, the problem of increasing distractibility is serious. We have more and more demands on our attention, and those demands have fiendishly evolved to become ever more attention-getting, mainly by being small enough to squeeze into our awareness, like texts, tweets, posts, and notifications. We may not stop what we're doing to read a 2-paragraph email, but we will glance at a 2-line text, no matter what we're doing, right? But despite its brevity, the 2-line text disrupts our attention as much as an email would have. Disruption is disruption. When you do make time to read an actual online article, you have to wade through a barrage of ads that zoom across the screen or slide down and block half the screen, videos that autoplay, and flashing banners. Plus, those hateful pop-ups that you must click on to turn them off because they're blocking half the article. I have resorted to putting Post-its on my screen to cover those up so I can stay focused on what I'm reading. Another good trick is to copy the article text into a Word file, and that way I just get the text and no dancing images. It makes me tired, I gotta admit. Whether you're aware of it or not, it makes you tired too. Your mind is naturally primed for engagement. Your primitive brain is on the alert because you need to see that tiger before it sees you. When you let in too many distractions, however, you are surrounding yourself with tigers. Who could get any work done in those conditions? Giving into distraction increases your impulsivity. That's not a good thing. Impulsivity decreases your focus dramatically. If you never resist distractions, you actually lose your ability to do so. It'll get worse. You'll become unable to produce anything that isn't a soundbite or a bullet point. Worse, you'll become one of those annoying people who interrupt conversations when some random thought pops into their heads that they can't stop themselves from sharing. Please don't be that person. Really, you cannot think without focus. You can't learn anything, you can't make good decisions, solve problems, you can't plan for the future without focus. These critical life skills are seriously eroded by the habit of giving in to distractions. It is up to us now more than ever to keep those distractions at bay as much as we can. You can do the usual things like turning off the phone notifications, closing browser tabs. I've talked about all those solutions before. So what I'll talk about now is how you can train yourself to ignore distractions. And here's what I recommend. Daydreaming. Yep, that's right. Give yourself a break, not by going to a favorite distraction, but by gazing out the window. Now, if you're a sea captain, that won't work. The idea is to do something very different from what you're taking a break from. Since most of us these days work at computers, you want to do something physical, moving your body, and something outside, not in the office, not at your desk. You want to switch gears completely. Going to Instagram is not going to hack it. Even when you're taking a break, distractions can pop up. If you just get up from your desk and start wandering, you are a target for distraction. To circumvent that, have a plan for your break. A simple, easily executable plan that guides your mind and keeps it engaged. I mean, plan to walk around the block, get a cup of tea, and return to work. That's the plan. The more you focus on the physical, the easier it is for your mind to relax. This can take some practice. At first, your mind will probably be still full of whatever you were working on, or what's for lunch, or a weird conversation you had yesterday, or stress about a work deadline, all that stuff. That's normal. Your practice is to guide your attention to the trees outside, the air temperature, the colors of the cars passing by, the feel of the pavement under your feet. It's like a mini meditation. What you'll find when your mind relaxes is that you get more creative ideas. You can stand back and see the bigger picture because you're not mired in the daily details. You can make connections between disparate things and come up with inventive solutions. These are the benefits of daydreaming. We already know that focus diminishes over time anyway. Even if you're really good at it, you must take breaks in order to keep your skill honed. So don't worry about taking a break. In fact, you need to. Here's what you can do right now. Whatever you're doing, stop and take a walk. Notice your surroundings. Let go of the thoughts of the day. If you're driving, let the podcast end, turn off the music, and really see what's outside your windshield. Safely, of course. Notice the landscape, or see how many different color cars you can spot. Here's a bonus tip for drivers. For me, driving is like taking a shower. I'm involved in a physical task, and ideas just pop into my head. So I have a small notebook in my car that I use to jot down 1 or 2 word reminders, again, just whenever it's safe to do so. Hey, thanks for listening. I'm Claire Tompkins, the Clutter Coach. If you like the show, I'd love it if you'd leave a rating and review in iTunes. You can subscribe, too, so the podcast will be ready and waiting for you to listen to. You'll find the show notes on my blog at www.cluttercoach.net, and you can check out my store to find books I've written and a whole bunch of other stuff. If you're a fan of the show, you can become a patron on patreon.com for as little as $1 a month. You can find my page by going to the Patreon website, that's Patreon, and searching on Clutter Coach. I'll still post the podcast free of charge, but I've got some cool rewards for folks who want to help me make the show even better. Come back next week for a new podcast.